Hello, everyone. My name is Francois Lupien, owner of howtobecomemore.com. And the best lesson I ever have in my life was that I am 100% responsible for the results that I produce. Welcome to the show.
Oh, 100% responsible, Francois. That's fantastic. Where did you learn that advice?
Actually, it was an interesting advice. It was from a sales manager many years ago. And I had a big territory, and things didn't go the way I wanted them to go. Company did some changes, and they decentralized the support that we were getting to BC. I'm Eastern Canada, and I was in schools. And so because of the change in time, then the schools could not communicate with them. Anyways, it was not going well, and I was blaming the system, blaming everything, saying, hey, it's not my fault. You guys changed this. You guys changed that. And my manager get to me and says, you know what? Grow up. The day that you will realize that you are 100% responsible for everything that happens in your life's going to change. And I go, but you don't understand. You're doing this. He says, stop it. Just ponder upon what I said. And then I said right away, okay, I got to eat this. I don't want to, but I will. And I told him, okay, I am going to do President's Circle this year. And just to put into perspective, we start in September and we finish in June. And this was end of January. And I had I had $1 million worth of business. That was the plan to do. I was at $100,000. That's it. And so I said, I'm going to do President's Circle, which is $1 million. And he goes, ha, ha, ha. I says, you watch me. And then I took to heart that I am 100% responsible. Once I did this, something shifted in my mind. And then I was simply not looking for excuses, but for ways to execute. And then all of a sudden, new ways came to me. I was taking action, energized by them, getting the feedback from those actions and getting results. Long story short, I made President's Circle, and I did it by over $100,000. So I did in 5 months what people take 10 months to do, because I took responsibility for my results. And that's the best thing that ever happened. And I like to teach that to others. It's a hard pill to swallow. You know, what are you talking about? It's not my fault. It's him. You know, it's Phil. It's not. When we take responsibilities, great things starts to happen. Hope this answers the question.
Yeah, so okay, it does. And let's talk about that though, right? So is responsibility different than blame, or how does that work? To walk me through that in the mindset here, Francois.
Interesting that you say responsibility and blame. I think that they're the opposite. And in life, everything has its opposites: up, down, in, out, light, darkness, cold, warm. And so whenever we focus on something, that's what we create or realize or attract. Therefore, blame is the opposite of responsibility. Blame is putting on someone else the burden of what's happening in our life. Responsibility is taking that burden ourselves and then developing the strength necessary to overcome. So I like what you say. It's very nice. Actually, one thing I like to say to my clients is, from here to here is 8 feet. And from here to here is 8 feet. You say it's the same thing. No. If you're on the floor and you look up, it seems very high. But if you're on the ceiling and you look down, you have a different perspective. It's still the same 8 feet, but you see it differently. And hence, you're either empowered if you look from up, or you're disempowered from the position that you choose to take.
That's interesting. So perspective, right? And positioning. Those are important things that we need to talk about, I think, because so many people, I think they overlook that simple fact, right? The power of perspective, the power of that. So Francois, I know that you're all about perspective and power and living that best life that we can live. So what is responsibility? Okay, that's good foundational piece. What else? Like, how else do you work with folks as they work to become more? Talk to me about that.
Interesting. And I never know where this goes, but it'll be fun. I just had this thought. You talk about perspective. I'm 60 years old. I've been around the block a few times. And one of the things that I'm gathering more and more is we need to respect others. And this is foundational to us taking responsibility. So I'm going to take a little test with you. I'm going to tell you Forget it. There's nothing written on this. Do you believe me? There's nothing written on this. Do you believe me?
I do not.
You do not believe me, but I say there's nothing written on this. Look at this now. I was seeing this part. For me, there was nothing written on it. For you, there was. So now, ladies and gentlemen, two people can look at the same thing, say two different things, and both of them are right. Let us calm our horses when people come to us with different points of view. They know something we don't know. They see something we don't see. Let's talk and find out. And one of the best questions I have for this is if I say there's nothing written on it, and you say, yes, there is, then the next question I can ask is, what information do you have that leads you to believe that there's something on this? And you're going to say, and you describe it. And now we're opening, and I'm not judging, nor are you. And we grow one from another, realizing that, hey, there's more than one way to slice something. And we all benefit from it. So these are, I like these things. It helps to relax in life and be more loving and encompassing with others around us.
Wow. So that's a hard question, right? What information do you have that leads you to believe that this is true? What information do you have? Maybe, and what we're saying there really is, what information do you have that I don't, but that I need to in order to see things the way that you do? So that's a tough question though, because people say, well, obviously there's some writing on that, right? I mean, obviously, but how do we help them shift, Francois? How do we help them see what we see?
As I said, question, actually, another leeway to a book. This is a funny book. It's called Questions Are the Answer. I saw this book 20 years ago in an airport as I was traveling, doing speeches and talks. And I said, it triggered in my mind something that I went into sort of this direction. Then I started reading the book and I stopped reading it because it was not going where I wanted it to go. And so this book for 20 years has been on my bookshelf right here. And I refer to it daily without having ever read it. Why? Because questions are the answer. What does that mean? If the results I'm getting are not the way I want, let me find out what question can I ask to find the answer to this. And if the answer you're getting is not good, you're asking the wrong question. Again, taking responsibility. Remember what I said, this is 8 feet high, 8 feet low. According to where you are, you're going to get a different perspective. If the perspective is not what you want, change the question. Maybe sometimes the polar opposite of it is good. That's why I tell all my people, I says, how can I become better? Check this out. And enjoy the journey. Wow. This question is now empowering. Or how can I learn more and have fun doing it? By doing this, we're channeling our thinking into a direction that's going to be more pleasurable. Rather than saying, oh man, I got to learn this thing. And how am I going to do this? And well, your brain's going to say, well, you can't learn. You know that you have a hard time learning. And so you're asking the wrong questions, so you get the wrong answers. But if you start to polish the question, does it come like this? Absolutely not. With practice. But practice is good. The more we take action, the better we get at it. Absolutely.
Okay. That's so interesting, right? So is that more important then, that our mind is ready to shift, or that we have better skills to ask better questions? What comes first even?
I would say clarity. What is it that you want? What is it that you really want? Once you figure this out in a deep way, not just, I want a new car, I want a house, not that. What is it that you want? What is it that you truly want? So for example, Phil, you decide to make a difference in people's lives and bringing them information. These guys are going to transform their lives and help them perform at another level. It's got nothing to do with money. But as you do this, anything that comes at you, you now start to say, is this helping me getting closer to it? Or is this getting me further away from it? So with that, you can start making decisions much quicker and in a way that's aligned and focuses you so that you can accomplish more faster. They say that successful people make decisions quickly and change them slowly, if ever. Why? Because they are clear on what it is that they want. clear.
That, huh. That so okay. So that's very interesting that you would say that. Do you, I mean, do you really think it's clarity, or do you think they just make the best of decisions that they make? I mean, do they just continue to refine? I'm genuinely curious because I have found that even if I make a decision and it's the wrong decision at the time, if I make the best of it, usually it turns out to be the right decision.
You're a wise man. that's what, because now you realize that everything happens for a reason, which is good. I have a proprietary way of doing things. It's called the CURE, CURRE. And the first part is C for clarity. We need to have clarity as what it is that's going on in our life. Number one. Number two, we need to uncover. U is uncover. Uncover hidden challenges that are standing in your way, stopping you or slowing you down from where you want to go. It's like if you come into a room and it's dark and you start to hit yourself on the different obstacles here. And if someone turns on the light, all of a sudden, the obstacles appear and you can discern them. So U is uncover those hidden challenges. Then the next step is crucial, R and R. The first one is remove and the other one is replace. Now, bear with me on this very important concept. The universe hates vacuum. If you ever remove something from a certain spot, something else comes into it right away. Therefore, a lot of people that says, I'm going to change my behavior. And as they remove it and they did not replace it, the old behavior or something not useful takes its place right away. Therefore, RR, which replace and remove, is you have to take the one that you want to remove. Find out exactly the size that it takes, and then create something that's the same size to replace it, usually the polar opposite. And then once you remove it right away, you need to put this one in place. So you remove and replace, and then the E is embed. We need to embed this so you get results that stick. So the clarity, uncover, remove, replace, and embed is a success to formula that makes it that regardless of how many books you read, how many things you've done, unless you integrate this knowledge by removing obstacles that are hidden. And that's why we need others to help us find out what they are. And then as we remove and replace, we need to embed them. And so now we get results that stick. Hopefully that makes sense.
That does. And that's a great way to look at things. If we get that clarity, and unless we start with that clarity, it's very hard to embed it in our life because, like, well, this doesn't matter. This doesn't make sense. I don't understand why this would happen. So that makes a lot of sense that we start with that. But I'd like to go a little bit deeper into the uncovery or the discovery, if you will, of those. So take us through some questions that we can ask ourselves, Francois, to help us uncover more of our truth.
I loved it. And coming back to what we talked about, questions are the answer. And the more we ask questions, and sometimes people try to make it more complicated than it really is. And by that, I mean, he says, what's the question? If it was to be you, and we talked about clarity of what it is that you want, then I would say, Phil, what do you think is slowing you down, standing in your way, or stopping you from achieving what it is that you want? And then you start to respond to me as far. And so for the folks here, you can take a pen and paper. And honesty is so important. Be honest with yourself. You're doing this for yourself. There's no need in lying or saying, well, I'm not going to put all the truth in there. What it is, and then ask the question twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Why am I saying this? There's skeletons in your closets. I have skeletons. We all do. We just don't necessarily like to talk about them. But these questions, what it is that's, if you notice, there was a crescendo to it. What it is that's slowing you down, standing in your way, or stopping you. Now we're getting big now, stopping you. And when you're very honest with yourself, you're going to find something, oh man, yeah. And it might be a trauma of a long time ago, or it might not be a trauma, or a thought that you have, or someone that said something. And now and this is the concept, I'm very visual, as you can tell. When you do this, you take things out of your head, which thinks all over the place, and you put it on paper. Once it's on paper, you can now deal with it because it's now out of your head and it's there. Once it's there, you can start dealing with it. And so once we have all these things, now a little how do you say, caveat on people. And that's why it's good to have a coach to help you do this. Okay, I have 7 things that I need to get rid of. And then you start going at it. You're going to fail, because the mind is a fragile thing. Although it's very strong, it's fragile, and it wants to protect itself. If you change them one at a time, it's going to allow you to do it. If you try and change 2, 3, 4, 5 at a time, it's going to slam the brakes, throw the parking brakes, and throw the key away. It's not moving. You will fail, and you will be frustrated. You say, how come it's not working? Francois told me to. You're biting too much. You want too much too soon. Now, the silver lining on this is, as you address from your list the biggest one first, and when you address that biggest one consistently and persistently, as you start to crumble it, it will crumble others on the list at the same time. So going slower, in effect, is going to make you go faster, which is something that we need to wrap our heads around. You don't try and do all at once. Do a little bit, and that little bit done well. Now, I like to say that those big obstacles, when you crumble them, will go to the ground, and instead of being stumbling blocks, will now become stepping stones for you to change the perspective that you have for the next step, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. So that's interesting, right? I think, yeah, a lot of times those big rocks, once we get them out of our way, the other ones often can evaporate, or maybe they weren't problems even in the first place. So I've got to ask here. We're going to move into skill set a little bit more here, but I have to ask, Francois, what is your daily practice for keeping your mindset right? Because you know, we've talked a couple of times here, and I have to tell you, you're amazingly positive and have so much energy. So what is your practice for keeping your mindset right?
Well, I get up early in the morning. People say, oh, I didn't know it was going to be that hard. So getting up early in the morning when the hustle and bustle is not all around you. And my first thing that I do is gratitude. I have a gratitude journal, and I write 10 things that I'm grateful for. Some of you say, I heard that before. Are you doing it? Now I'm going to give you a little tip on how to do it even better. Every time you write something that you're grateful for, stop and ponder upon why you're grateful for that. Feel the feeling. Feel it. And as you do this, your gratitude is going to increase even more. So 10 things every day is sometimes the same thing. Actually, I always start with the same one. I'm so happy and grateful for my lovely wife. That's the first one that I have every day. And I relax and I think about her, and good feelings come into me. So as I nurture those feelings, guess what? When I see her, when she wakes up, I love her even more. I am nurturing the things that I'm grateful for. So you do this 10 times. After you've done the 10 times, basically, you've elevated your attitude at a very nicer vibration, nicer level. And from there, you relax for 5 minutes and you seek guidance. Call it universe, call it God, call it whatever you want. I call it God. You call it what you want. But so relax and try and get some inspiration, because now you're in a grateful state. And then that inspiration, write it down and then do it. Why? When we get inspiration to do something, you need to act upon it. Because if you don't, the next time you ask for guidance, it's not going to give it to you. Why? Because you are not taking and receiving the gift and doing something with it. Now, the last part, now since your vibration is really nice, you think of 2 or 3 people that bother you or circumstances, and you literally send them love. If you have people that bother you, business, home, relationships, try this little tip, but do in the sequence I told you. Why? The first part is gratitude. You need to elevate yourself. Then get some inspiration and then give love out. Because if you receive and you don't give, you're going to blow up. Because it's mine, it's mine. You're going to blow up. You need to let it go. Let it flow. You've been in the flow before? That's what it is. You get in and you give out. So that's what we're here to do. And the more we can give to others, the better it is. And what better it is to send love to those that may bother you. And use another word if you don't like love, like or good feelings, which is fine. But when you do that, I guarantee you at one point, the phone's going to ring and that relationship is going to be smooth. It's like unadulterated magic. It's like, what? So this is how I start my day every day. Then I study for an hour. Every day I study for an hour, every morning. So, and I write things down and I study and I consistently get better at it. Why? Because I have many clients, and my integrity is to provide them as much as I can. So I need to take me seriously if I want to help my fellow men and fellow women. That's the integrity that I have. And it's exciting as I find things. Yes, I can help Phil with this. And then I think of all these things. And then when I bring it to them through the inspiration that I have, they go, man, that's exactly what I was looking for. And it's a synergy that goes. And then one of the best words that I can tell people here is the word allow. And so, Phil, I'd like you to do the following. And everybody that's listening to this, just do this. Take a deep breath. And then relax. And then say the word out loud. Allow. Say it.
Allow. Allow.
Isn't that a peaceful feeling? You allow. You're no longer fighting. You're not stressed. And this state, I'm a national trainer for Tony Robbins. We had his franchise in Ottawa that we're conducting. It was great. And so the man is fantastic. And a lot of people have a hard time managing their state. And that word, allow, enables you to stop stressing. I'm very visual. If something is coming at you and you want to allow, and you're like this, it's not coming. It's bouncing off you. But if something's coming at you and you relax, you allow it. I don't know if you see it. There's a gold medal there. I'm Canadian champion in Taekwondo. And so one thing I know is if someone comes hard and you go to everybody gets hurt. But if you sidestep, and then you can do some more damage because you're not confronting. So same thing with, just allow it. Things are not there to hurt you. They're there to help you. If you make the decision and take the responsibility of it, to come full circle of what we're talking about before.
Wow. So how long did it take you to get, to get in the flow of doing this every day? I mean, I'm guessing this just didn't just happen, Francois.
I like what you're saying, and I'll answer in the following way. Find people in your life that you respect and that have accomplished things that you value. And then when they say something, apply it again and again and again. When you do that, you will change. It takes persistence. There's no free lunch. There is no elevator to success. We all need to take the stairs. And a lot of people ask, because I have some pretty outstanding results with my clients, because how do you do it? How do you do it? And you're going to love this answer. How is the reward of those who paid the price? That's it. How is the reward of those who paid the price? If you don't pay the price, you will never find out how. No one can do your push-ups for you. You have to do them yourself. And once you do them yourself, you will develop and become stronger, metaphorically, of course, but you understand the concept.
Yeah, but how many push-ups, though? How many days do I have to do this, Francois? This sounds like a week, 10 days, 2 months? What? I mean, every day?
You're going to love this thing. As long as it takes. How's that? As long as it takes. Some people will be faster. Some people will be slower. Because one of the things that when I mentor people, it needs to be customized. Everybody is different. So through the feedback that we get, we can tweak this and tweak that. So the best answer I can give is as long as it takes. Because if I tell you 10 days and you do it 10 days and then it doesn't work, well, this thing doesn't work. That's why I say that prescription without analysis is malpractice. We need to find out. That's why I always like to offer like a 15-minute casual talk with anybody that's considering to hire me or talk to me so that we can find out what's going on. And then from there, we realize, are we a good fit? Does it work? And from there, we can decide if we go deeper or if we don't. I point you in another direction. It doesn't really matter. But we miss 100% of the shots we don't take. So let's take some shots. And the more you take them, the better you get at it. Action. If you have dreams and goals, the clarity we're talking about. If you have them and you say, oh, I'm very clear about it, but unless you take action, you will never crystallize the thoughts that you have into material or transformational things for you. You need to act upon it. And unfortunately, it comes disguised in WORK. You got to work at it. That's what it is. But it's fun if you decide it to be. That's what I was talking about. You were saying, how can I develop this attitude of gratitude in the journal, as you said before? So you can ask the question, man, this guy said that, gratitude, how can I do this? Well, I have no time for this. No. Or how can I put this gratitude concept that he talked about in my life and enjoy it? How can I do that? And when's the best time for me to do this so I can get the most benefit from it? You see how questions are the answer? Once you ask these questions, they're empowering you to make it happen. Yeah, the work is fun if you decide it's fun. It's a decision. It's a decision. You decide. You take responsibility for it. If it's not fun, don't look at others. Look in the mirror. Like, Michael Jackson says, it starts with the man in the mirror. That's what it is. Or the woman in the mirror. But it starts with you, which is great. Because if it's like that, then we have control. We're no longer victims of circumstances. We become the creator of the reality that we want. And that's a wonderful life to live.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So hit me with one or two more skills that we need here, Francois, because you've given us some great stuff. You gave us how we can use the way you amp up the gratitude journal. I love that. That's super, super powerful. I love, the word allow. I think that's super strong, right? And seeking guidance and then actually taking action on it. But give me one more skill that we can use today to get started along this journey.
How about a different skill that I'll give you? And one that has got to do with sales, because a lot of the people in your podcast are with sales, correct?
That's right.
Okay. Sales is a transference of feeling, not your feeling, their feeling. So the best way I can help you to close more people or have more people coming into your world is by forgetting about yourself and concentrating on them. And by asking the right questions, discover what it is that they want. Find out what they really want and try and poke holes at it. Is that really what you want? And then according to the answer that they give you, now this is the tip, you get emotionally involved with their wants, with their desires. Once you do that, you elevate your communication. Instead of being like this, now you communicate on that level with them. Because now you understand more truly what it is that they want. And you can provide it to them. And be man or woman enough that if what they truly want, you cannot give them, point them in the direction of someone that can. It's okay. It's okay not to make money from someone. You're serving. And as you serve and you allow, the thing starts to flow into you. And just because you have done that, other things will come from unexpected sources to bless you because you have helped someone else in their wants, serving them. Serve the people by finding out what it is that they want. Forget about self. And you're going to see that self is taken care of big time.
Wow. Wow, that is how I always try to sell and how I coach selling as well. To sell is to serve. I completely believe that. I know it works. It works for me. It works for many. So, Francois, I'm grateful for the time you shared with us today. I've enjoyed our conversation. There's so much that you've given. As we look at recapping here, folks, I just want you to think about what Francois has said with us today. Think about clarity, right? What do you really want? And then close that with flipping that. If you're in sales, find out what your prospects, what your clients really want and get emotionally involved with them. And I would say, to steal your line, Francois, that's how we get to become more. Would you agree?
Absolutely. That's what it is. Step by step, brick by brick. Let's make it happen. Life's a journey.
Yeah. Awesome. Every single day, folks, remember that you are 100% responsible for the results of your action, just as Francois learned long ago. If you want more from him, please go to howtobecomemore.com. Get to know him, learn from him, and value him as I do. Francois, thank you so much, my friend. I really value the time we spent today. Thank you.
Phil, thank you so much. And may everybody prosper with the advice that we give and continue to share so we can help one another.
Absolutely. Great way to end up, folks. Remember that responsibility and blame are opposites. And if you are responsible for your results, you can make it happen. HowToBecomeMore.com is my friend, Francois Lupien. Have a great day.